Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Heart Talks with Holly. Um, you'll have to forgive my voice this time. I have a small case of laryngitis, but I'm in bed and I've got a giant cozy sweater on, and I've got my green tea, and wait for it, mismatched cozy socks. So I'm feeling pretty on my A game right now. For today, I wanted to address real quick those of us who are considered either because someone told us or we think or we feel it ourselves. Those of us who are sensitive, highly sensitive, empaths, highly empathetic, however you want to word it. I've just been thinking about that. I think about that a lot. If you've met me before, or if you get to know me at all, you'll discover pretty quickly that I feel all the things. I feel everything. I can feel people's expressions. I can feel I can feel them. I don't know how else to say it. Their emotions, what I think might be going through their minds. I can sense it, the good and the bad. And sometimes that can get frustrating. Sometimes it can get really overwhelming. In the past, it has majorly triggered my anxiety and even sent me into panic attacks before, just from putting myself into someone else's shoes mentally and not knowing where the boundary was. And so there's a lot of frustrating stuff that can be involved in being an empath or a highly sensitive person, because sometimes it feels like, at least in my experience, it feels like activities are limited. Like, I can't really watch sad movies, scary movies, dramatic movies. I can't, and then it's the same thing with TV shows, books. Sometimes I feel like people might assume I'm ignorant, or they think I'm ignorant because I had to turn something off, or I wasn't able to read something, some sort of global crisis, and I just tell them I just can't. I have such a hard time getting it out of my head. So there's a lot of frustrating parts about being a highly sensitive person or an empath. But what I wanted to say to those of you who feel that way or would describe yourselves that way is, it can be frustrating, it can be overwhelming, and it can sometimes lead us into places mentally, emotionally, and physically that we don't want to go. But being overly empathetic and sensitive is actually a superpower. I don't know if you've ever thought about it that way, but it is. It's a superpower. It is a gift. And and please don't mistake me for doing some sort of like awkward humble brag. I want you to know what you possess is a superpower and a gift, and that with any gifts that any of us have, it does take practice. It takes work and reflection and knowing what to do with this gift, how to use it to the best of our ability in order to positively help ourselves and other people. So if your gift is, acting, you have to practice. You go to classes and you master your art. And the same is with being empathetic and highly sensitive. This is something that we have to practice, we have to learn and understand so that we don't go too far. But if we can learn where we should put boundaries, which I think is what I'll talk about in next week's Heart Talk, if we can learn what to do with our empathy in the best way possible, gosh, the results from that can be so hugely impactful and beautiful and be so helpful to others. Because, last week, if you watched last week, we talked about community, we talked about taking it to the table. People only are going to take their hard things to the table if they know they are surrounded by empathy and sensitivity to their story and their thoughts and emotions. And that's you. That's where you come in. And I just wanted you to know that. So if that's something you're struggling with or you're frustrated with, or maybe someone told you you're too sensitive and it was hurtful, don't let that sink in. And if you've already let it sink in, try to find your way out. Try to work through it. And let's master this gift that we have so that we can help other people. All right, we'll talk next week.